This is CNN Breaking News.
Hi, I'm Robert Gersten, and this is CNN Breaking News. Since Adam and Eve, everyone has dreamt of flying. Nowadays, the safest means of transport is flying. But some people just want to jump off. Skydiving has become a very famous way to seek a thrill. A man, Dave Harstock, and a woman, Shirley Diggert, were skydiving tandem style when something went wrong. The primary chute got tangled with the secondary chute. They were falling uncontrollably, and at that moment, Dave knew he had to do something. We had the pleasure to interview them both. Here we are with Shirley, the victim of the skydiving accident. Tell me, Shirley, why did you go on your birthday skydiving?
Well, I was getting old and I always wanted to do something extreme, so I decided to go skydiving.
Right. What did your husband think about this?
Well, he thought that it was very dangerous to go skydiving, but I told him that many people do that and there's always a second parachute, so there's safety, and I was with an instructor, so everything was going to be fine.
Talking about your instructor, did you think he was going to save your life?
Well, at first I thought no, he wasn't going to risk his life or mine. But then I thought he's my instructor and it's his work to keep me safe, so.
Right. What did you feel when you noticed that your parachute was not going to work?
Well, I didn't notice that until the very last moment, and so I didn't have much time to think, but I was very regretful and I was terrified. I knew I was going to die, so.
Overall, was this a good experience after all?
More or less. I liked the fall, but then
the fall was bad.
Well, yeah, and the pain and the remorse of.
Right.
Yeah.
Talking about his injury, was he gravely injured?
Yes, he was paralyzed, and I feel a bit
Guilty?
guilty, yeah, because it was it was a bit of my
I
fault,
understand.
so.
What is your relationship going to be after all this?
Well, I am very, very thankful for what he did, and I want to keep seeing him, and well, I go see him weekly to the hospital just to keep him company, and then to see if he's okay.
Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you. Here we are with Dave, the hero of the skydiving accident. Dave, falling through the sky with no working parachute, did you ever think that this would be possible?
Well, it's really not probable that something like this happened, since you always have two parachutes, and if one doesn't work, there will always be the second one. But there's the slight probability that they get tangled or none of them work. So that's what happened.
Now, we already asked Shirley, but when did you realize that the parachutes didn't work?
Well, at first I tried pulling the lever to open my parachute, and it didn't open completely, but it did slow us down. Then I said, well, we still have the second parachute. So I opened it and nothing changed. At that moment, I looked up and I saw they were tangled. At that moment, I knew I was lost.
Right. And then after that, you went under Shirley to break her fall. Why did you do that?
Well, I don't know why I did it. I just know I had to do it. I was the only one responsible for her life, and well, it was my responsibility.
Now, how could you ever break that fall and not die yourself?
Well, as I already told you, my parachute didn't open completely, but it was enough for me not to die.
Right, just enough to survive.
Yes.
And do you ever think you'll ever skydive again?
Of course I will. Well, skydiving is my life. And I might not skydive again as a instructor or alone, but of course I will as soon as I can.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you get better
Thanks.
and skydive again.
Thanks.
Here we are with Steve. Steve is Dave's co-worker. He is also a skydiving instructor. He was flying at the moment of the accident. Steve, tell me, if you were skydiving at the time, why did you not go and help Dave?
Well, you see, that's a very good question, but it has a very simple answer. I was also skydiving tandem style.
Right.
So if I go and help Dave, I put the person I was skydiving with in great danger, and I couldn't afford that risk.
I understand. Didn't you feel that without your help, that you couldn't give any, Dave was going to die?
Well, of course I was worried about him, but you see, I've worked several years with him, and I can tell you that he's an excellent skydiver. He's a very courageous man, so I knew he was going to do everything to save that woman's life.
Yeah.
But my fear wasn't so great because I knew Dave could handle those situations.
Right. What did you feel when you saw Dave plummeting to the ground with this lady?
Well, I already knew he was going to do something risky to save her life. But when I saw him going under her, I got really scared. My thoughts about Dave having the situation under control weren't that clear anymore.
Right. Then, after that, what did you feel when you actually knew that Dave was actually in the ambulance, safe, and...
Well, that was a very big relief for me because, you see, Dave isn't just my co-worker. He's one of my best friends.
Right.
I know him since we were kids, so knowing that he was safe in an ambulance going to a hospital was a very big relief for me. I can now say, that's my opinion, I can tell you that Dave is a hero.
Definitely. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Here we are with Charles Strider, the owner of Skydive America. So, Charles, what was your reaction when you first learned about the accident?
First of all, I fear for the fate of my company. I thought this incident would cause the loss of many future clients, but I certainly fear for Shirley and Dave. When they told me the chutes had tangled, I got really scared. The most obvious thing was they were going to die.
So, how did you feel when you got to know that they were both safe?
I felt as much relieved as I felt proud. Dave had saved somebody from death. Not only did I not fear for the future of my company anymore, but I was now sure that this story would make SDA more famous.
So, I can see you care more about your company and money than your crew and clients. Isn't this true?
No. I didn't say that. I'm just thankful that Dave and Shirley made it out of that horrible situation, and that my company survived as well.
Right. So, this is Charles Strider, the owner of Skydive America. Now that we've all heard the story, we've learned that a true hero is humble and respected. Although physically damaged, heroes are morally invincible. Many people have been touched by this one act of bravery. We will soon check up on Dave to see how he is recovering. Up next, on CNN Heroes Special, a construction worker does something unexpected in the subway.